Welcome friends, welcome to Theory Wise again. Today our topic of discussion is The Canonization, a poem by John Donne. It was originally written in the 1590s and originally published in 1633 in the first edition of Songs and Sonnets. Now let us discuss what is the meaning of this term canonization. The word canonization means the act or process of changing an ordinary religious person into a saint in Catholic Christian religion. So, this title suggests that the poet and his beloved will become saints of love in the future, and they will be regarded as saints of true love in the whole world in the future. And the poem speaker uses religious terms to attempt to prove that this love affair is an elevated bond that approaches saintliness. In this poem, Donne makes use of paradox, ambiguity, and wordplay. By titling his poem The Canonization, Donne prepares his readers for a religious poem, but delivers something entirely different. Donne's focus on the theme of union, both physical and spiritual, dominates his works. In the canonization, here Donne uses the relationship between the spiritual and the erotic as framework to emphasize the close ties between spiritual and physical love. The poem concerns itself with the complexities of romantic love, and it exemplifies Donne's wit and irony. In a five-stanza argument, Donne illustrates the purity and power of his love. Each stanza begins and ends with the word love. The first stanza starts with a dramatic gesture suitable to the stage. The speaker is talking to an unseen provoker. For God's sake, hold your tongue and let me love. The speaker demands that the provoker must leave him in peace. He offers up plenty of substitutes like palsy, grey hairs, thin wallet, or even his gout. The speaker tells the person that he should focus on acquiring knowledge, or he should develop a taste for arts, or secure a position in the court to see the real color of the king, or he may make money by doing business. Essentially, the speaker says, do whatever you want, my friend, but leave me alone, don't disturb me. The first stanza is rather simple and introduces us to the subject or the theme of this particular poem, that is love. Let's go to the next stanza. In the second stanza, we can clearly see the speaker's application of logic. This stanza takes a live and let live perspective. Who's injured by my love? Line number 10. His sighs have not drowned any merchant ship. His tears have not caused any floods. The coldness of his tears has not prolonged the winter season or delayed the advent of the spring. The heat of his passion has not added to the list of persons who die of plague. Soldiers continue to fight the wars, and the lawyers are busy in their litigation. In spite of his love, the normal life of the world continues as usual. Why should then anyone object to this lovemaking. Here, in this stanza, he contrasts small actions such as lover's sigh of tears or tears shed with grand events such as the sinking of the merchant ships and the floods that caused the sinking. In the third stanza, the poet is simply saying that the friend may call the poet and his beloved whatever he likes, mad or funny, but whatever they are is the result of their love making. The friend may call the poet a fly and the poet's beloved another fly chasing after light. He may call them candles as they both burn themselves out in mutual love. He may compare them with the eagle and the dove because both of them are violent and gentle and prey on each other. Perhaps the legend of the phoenix would adequately describe the poet and his beloved. The two sexes match together so perfectly as to form a being of unisex. That is, after they die, they come to life again in the same form as they were before, just as the phoenix after death arises from its own ashes. Like the mystery of the phoenix, their mystery of love will command respect. The third stanza is crucial and full of important meaning, and we should discuss it in a detailed manner. Like Donne compares the lovers to the eagle and the dove, alluding to the Renaissance idea of the Platonic theory of the universe as concentric circles. Within those circles, various creatures moved, while the eagle flew in the sublunar space, that of the sky above earth. Doves ascended and descended to and from the upper heavens. According to the biblical passages such as the one in which the Holy Spirit descends from heaven during the baptism of Christ by John the Baptist. Donne extends the metaphor of fire by using the phoenix, a mythological bird that recreated itself every 500 years, and suggesting its constant renewal as a riddle. The speaker proposes that the heat of passion may keep him young despite his advancing age. The stanza concludes with an allusion to the Platonic notion that two lovers could join to form a perfect whole. We die and rise the same and prove mysterious by this love. Donne translates their love to a higher plane. First, he compares himself and his beloved to the eagle and dove, a reference to the Renaissance idea in which the eagle flies in the sky above the earth, while the dove transcends the sky to reach heaven. He immediately shifts to the image of phoenix, another death by fire symbol. Here, um phoenix is a bird that it repeatedly burns in fire and comes back to life out of the ashes, suggesting that even though their flames of passion will consume them one day perhaps, the poet and his beloved will be reborn from the ashes of their love. In their resurrection, their relationship has become a paradox. The key paradox of love is that two individuals become one. By uniting in this way, they prove mysterious by this love. Lines 26 to 27. These words may imply the mystery of marriage as it reflects the relationship of Jesus and his church as stated by Paul in Corinthians. You may also compare the story of love in Plato's Symposium, where The original human beings had the marks of both sexes before they were split into male and female, each person being left to seek his or her other half. If the lovers cannot get immortality by their love, they can at least die for it. The story of their love may not be worthy of tombs and monuments, but at any rate it is good enough for the material of poetry. Their love may not be recorded in the volumes of history, but it will certainly find mentioning in sonnets and lyrics. Just as the ashes of great men are preserved in an uh, urn or in tomb covering an area of half-acre, in the same way they will be respected by the world as canonized saintly lovers. Just as saints are canonized for the love of God, in the same way they will be canonized for the sake of love. Their love is pure and selfless. So in this stanza, in stanza number 4, Donne carries the idea of love and death into the penultimate stanza, his first line reading, "We can die by it, if not live by love," suggesting that once dead, the lovers will become the subject of legend and chronicles, their story preserved as an example to others. If their story is not told in history, it will certainly be presented through art. We will build in sonnets pretty rooms, as well as wrought urn becomes the greatest ashes as half-acre tombs. His suggestions of the small urn's equality to the most lavish of tombs was made famous in the title of the 20th century formalist critic Clement Brooks' seminal work or seminal book, The Well-Wrought Urn: Studies in the Structure of Poetry. On the other hand, their love is self-contained and perfect like a well-wrought urn, and this is a phrase that would become famous after poet John Keats wrote Ode on a Grecian Urn, and critic Clement Brooke, as I already told you, wrote a book treating each poem like its own beautifully and carefully crafted urn, full unto itself. On the other hand, the ashes in this urn are meant to spread, in this case covering half an acre, but symbolic of spreading the tale of perfect love throughout the world. But Donne saves his most dramatic comparison for the final two lines of this stanza, writing, "And by these hymns all shall approve us, canonized for love." Here he broaches the blasphemous suggestion that his physical love bears an importance equal to that of the canonized saints. Not only do they provide an example, their names may be called upon in order to intercede with requests that their own passion be increased. The final stanza voices the poet's sense of future vindication over the critic. The poet expects that the rest of the world will invoke himself and his beloved, similar to the way Catholics invoke saints in their prayers. You are the saints of love who made each other your pilgrimage. For each of you the other was a world in himself or herself. For others love was a furious passion, but to you love brought peace and bliss. You saw the reflection of the entire world in each other's eyes. You performed the miracle of contracting the world within your eyes. In your eyes you saw the countries, towns, and courts, and thus saw a more meaningful world. Since you are the sense of love, we pray to God to fashion our love on your pattern, so that we may also love as you did. In this vision of the future, the lovers' legend has grown, and they have reached a kind of sainthood. They are role models for all the world because countries, towns, courts beg from above a pattern of your love. Lines 44 to 45. From the lover's perspective, the whole world is present as they look into each other's eyes. This sets the pattern of love that the whole world can follow. So, in conclusion, we can say that the poem speaks about the transformation of worldly lovers into mm, holy saints, as in the Catholic Christian custom of canonization. The speaker in the poem claims that he and his beloved will be canonized when the poet immortalizes their love, and that lovers of the future will invoke to them to give them the strength of spiritual love. The physical passion is to unite them into one soul and transform them into saints of love. And the second feature, the poem takes the form of a drama, where the speaker is speaking back with angry arguments, and those arguments in the poem are forceful, suggestive, and witty. The speaker uses colloquial words, rough idioms, broken rhythm, all of which characterize metaphysical poems. Thirdly, use of surprising registers, that is words, is another feature of the poem. The speaker uses words from the register of trade, commerce, medicine, myth, and so on. Palsy, for example, palsy and gout, they belong to the register of medicine, while merchant and ship signify the realm of trade and commerce, while phoenix relates to myth, hymns concerns religion, and chronicles means history. Canonization links together these harmonious images. In other words, there is a yoking together of heterogeneous images by violence. Fusion of emotion and intellect is another important feature of this poem, you can say. The fusion is observed in the comparison of the lovers to the mysterious phoenix and the divine saints. The speaker assumes that, like the phoenix, the lovers would die and rise at the same time and prove mysterious by their love. Reference to this mythical being well sums up Donne's theory of sexual metaphysics, a real and complete relationship between a man and a woman fuses their soul into one whole. The poet is both sensuous and realistic in his treatment of love. The romantic affair and the moral status of the worldly lovers are compared to the ascetic life of unworldly saints. Thus, we can say this poem, The Canonization, is in many ways a typical metaphysical poem, where the complexity of substance is expressed with a simplicity of expression. Thank you. Thanks for watching my video. Please do subscribe. I need subscribers. I need your help. So please do subscribe. If you like it, like my videos, share it among friends, families. So thanks again for watching.